All right, here we are. Checking out the live stream. Seeing how it's looking. All right. This is my wonky setup I'm using right now. I totally understand how it's wonky, but it's what's working for me right now. So bear with me and we'll figure it out. There we go. There we go. Now I can share my screen with everybody. Gives me the ability to... Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, nobody's here yet. That's okay. I just want to thank everybody who came to my last couple of streams. I was shocked and amazed that, that anybody came. It's really shocking to me. If you're there and you can hear me and everything sounds okay, please let me know. If you hear any sound problems or any interference with the connection, please send me a message. I understand that this is not the best time of day or even the best day to be doing a stream, but I am in Ukraine. And it's 9 p.m. I just finished teaching all day. And this is the time that I have. So I kept trying to stay up till like midnight to be able to talk to people in in America, and it just wasn't happening. Just wasn't happening, So today the title of our stream today is How I Gave Ukraine AIDS. It's a little bit wild. We'll get to that story. But the good news I have, so I spoke yesterday about how over the weekend I got to do an interview with one of my fellow members of the International Legion, and he's back in the United States. He is back in the United States right now. So he served for about 4 months. He had to go back for some family stuff. But then he was owed some back pay, and he couldn't. It's really annoying. He couldn't afford a plane ticket back to Ukraine. So I was going to do like a fundraiser for him, maybe a GoFundMe, something like that. Well, he sent me a message today, and it turns out that the unit, the brigade he's with, they are sending him back. They're buying him a plane ticket, and he's headed back next month. So that is great news. I'm sure his wife and his family aren't very happy about it, but he's happy because he wants to come back. So fantastic news. Yeah, so I will tell you my story. I don't know about you guys, how, those of you who've served in the military, you've probably seen some crazy hijinks. Yeah. This is my first time in the military joining the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine. So I had no idea really what to expect. Maybe that's good and maybe that's bad. I didn't have any expectations either way. A lot of people who've joined the Legion who had military experience, were disappointed because it wasn't well organized enough for them, or there's no air support or whatever, And Ukrainians kind of, everything's a little bit ad hoc, and they make do with what they've got. So, and I guess I've gotten used to that, or maybe I always was that way. In my case, so in my with my first week when I first got to the Legion, and I'm gonna full screen this. I think we'll do it like that while I tell this story. There we go. So, in the Legion, I had heard a lot of rumors about how, especially back in the beginning in like March of 2022, there was a lot of problems with thievery, with things being stolen. Guys, bringing supplies or even weapons with them and having those weapons stolen, either by fellow legionnaires or allegedly by Ukrainians. I mean, there was criminal cases about this. It's pretty well documented. So I was a little bit, nervous about this, and the only thing I had that was worth a shit was I have a nice razor. You can't see it, but it's sitting back on that shelf right there. It's like a Philips or Norelco. I think it's a Philips. Anyway, I've had bad experiences in America traveling with having my electric razor stolen out of my bag. It was maybe sitting next to me, or I just stepped a little bit too far away from it just momentarily, and somebody, pulled it out of the front pack or something, and this happened to me twice in America. Pretty awful. So, I decided that I didn't want anybody stealing my electric razor. So I wanted to write my name on it, but I figured just writing James on it wasn't gonna stop somebody from stealing it. So I decided, well, what would stop someone from stealing my razor? And I said, what if I wrote on there, "Do not touch this razor, or you will get AIDS." That might stop it. Hang on. I'm gonna go grab the razor. I'll even show it to you. Give me a second. You could actually still lightly see on there. No, I guess you can't see it from that. But it's mostly rubbed off. But I wrote on there, "You will get AIDS. Don't touch this." Yeah, I was just paranoid about it, And then, the other thing that was really awful about the Legion. Oh, hi, Shirkan, welcome. Thanks for joining. Yeah, I was just telling the story. So the other thing that was really kind of awful about the Legion was you have to buy your own toilet paper in training. Yeah, that sucks. And the toilet paper here, well, the cheap stuff sucks. I mean, the cheap toilet paper here is much cheaper than the toilet paper in America. And I had the experience of I left my toilet paper in the toilet. Well, not in the toilet, but in the bathroom stall. And it disappeared. Somebody took it. Well, I found out that they throw them away if you leave them in there. But so on my toilet paper roll on the side, I wrote on there, "Do not touch my toilet paper or you will get AIDS." Just in case I did happen to leave it in there, I wanted to discourage people. I wanted them to come out of there and say, "Hey, who's this AIDS guy?" And that did happen, actually. And yeah, so that became my call sign. Actually, I happen to have. I had to clean up a spill. So here's what cheap toilet paper looks like. I mean, it used to be a full roll, but here's what cheap toilet paper looks like in Ukraine. It literally doesn't even have a hole there. It's just a roll like this. So, yeah, that became my call sign. Everybody started calling me AIDS. Yeah, that happened. So I did not have a lot of gear. Didn't have a lot of clothes. I had some like secondhand thrift store stuff that I actually ended up giving away. That there were a lot of guys who came with, like for instance, camouflage, like clothes, BDUs and fatigues and things. And as soon as they got a paycheck, they went out and bought the fanciest new Miltac, whatever it was. So there was a, how do I say this? There was a box, a giveaway box. Actually, there was a big giant pile of free clothes because people would come from whatever country, and some of them would bring nothing, like, just their jeans and a t-shirt. And some of them would bring like every article of clothing, everything that they possibly own, yeah. how to get a weird call sign. Exactly. Pretty much, Isa. So, it's a weird call sign. We had this big pile of free clothes, and some of it was okay. I put some stuff in there actually, and then one day, I came in, and it was on a day when everybody was gone. So once a week, like on Saturdays, sometimes Saturdays and Sundays, we got to go into the nearest big city, which I won't tell you where it was, but nearest big city. It was, some distance away, but if we had a free weekend, some guys, most of the guys, almost everyone would go in and, not drink alcohol. Pretty much probably, rent a hotel with a prostitute or something. I think, I don't know. I didn't though, because at that point, I had already injured my arm and my wrist, and I was actually trying to exercise it and try to get it back up and work. I was actually making it worse. I didn't know that, but anyway, I stayed home. I stayed in the barracks and was working out. Okay. There was only like one or two other people, and there was a German guy. He was actually getting ready to leave to go back home. He didn't like it for some reason. But I came in from working out outside, and he said, "Hey, AIDS. You said you needed some clothes, some fatigues. Well, there's a box, a giveaway box on that bed frame, the bed frame over there, big metal bed frame, right? There's a box of giveaway fatigues on the metal bed frame, right over there. Just see the bed frame right next to the commander's bed there. And sure enough, there was big, not a big, medium cardboard box with some really nice fatigues in there. I still have them, actually. Well, one pair I have. Somebody had already gone through it, it looked like, and there was some clothes hanging over the bed frame and hanging over kind of the box and another part of the bed frame. Somebody had already gone through it, obviously. But I was super happy because there were 3 battle shirts. And if you don't know what a battle shirt is, or a combat shirt, they've become very popular here. I'll show you what a battle shirt looks like, right? Combat shirt. Yeah, they look like this. For Ukraine, it's pretty expensive. For 4,800, that's like $150 for some of these battle shirts. They're not cheap. You could find really cheap ones for like $1,500. That's like $40, I'm gonna say, roughly speaking. Okay, these are kind of crappy ones if you buy a cheap one. These are super popular in the military these days. Everybody's got them. You got to have them if you're gonna be a real soldier, I guess now. And I was like, wow, there's three battle shirts. This is fantastic. Plus a couple of pairs of pants. They kind of had a smell to them. They were obviously used, though. They smelled like somebody's armpits. So I said, okay, I'm going to go wash them. And then I'm going to write my call sign on them. Because the thing is we had a washing machine, but we didn't have a dryer. We just had a big room with a bunch of like hooks. There was like some racks. They looked like meat hooks, to be honest with you. They might have been meat hooks. I don't know. But for us, it was a bunch of hooks, and we hung our clothes. Everybody, the whole barracks, hung our clothes in this like meat locker, and then they had a heater, and it heats the room up, so it's like really super hot, and it dries everyone's clothes. Takes way too long, and everybody's clothes always get mixed up. And so since I was writing my call sign now on everything, I wrote it on my new secondhand battle shirts. My new secondhand and pants. AIDS, right on there. And it was easy for me to recognize as well. When I'm going in there, I'm looking for my laundry. I can just pull it down because I see it. Obviously, everybody's stuff is freaking green or camo. So, yeah. I hope you can... Maybe you don't know where this is going yet, but... So I did that. I hung it up to dry. Everybody else was gone. I hung it up to dry. It dried. I packed these battle shirts away, the pants, everything. I was like, yeah, I finally got some real gear now. And everybody started to come back from their weekend off. And, everybody's trickling back in. And my commander, our platoon commander, comes in. He's a big guy. Big dude. I believe the quote, when someone described him to me the first time I saw him, the quote they used to describe him was, in case of war, break glass. Like a real soldier, not like me. Lots of rah, 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 but a nice guy with a good heart, for sure. And, but I was definitely intimidated by him. Anyway, so he comes in. He goes over to his bed that was next to the giveaway box. And he says, hey, did anybody see my clothes I had drying on the bed frame here? I had 3 battle shirts and a pair of BDU pants. Did anybody see them? Oh, shit. Can you guys guess? Can you guys guess what I did? I freaking shit myself is what I did. I immediately said, oh my God, you're gonna kill me. You're gonna kill me. I'm going to die. You're gonna kill me. You're gonna kick me out. Yeah, it's a good guess there. He has AIDS. I freaking on his like $150, maybe $200 freaking battle shirts and all this, I wrote AIDS on every article of his clothing. That's exactly what I did. And in permanent marker, it did bleed out a little bit, but all it did was bleed through the fabric. So when he's running around, it's backwards, but it very clearly says AIDS on the back. And when he took off his shirt, this is later, took off his shirt and it said AIDS physically on his skin. Yeah. So I don't know if any of you watching have ever royally fucked up. I don't know how I'm still alive. I would have killed me. At least thrown me out of the freaking military right then and there. Like, you're out. Goodbye. I would have physically picked myself up and thrown myself out, to be honest. Yes, so Now that as far as I know, that commander who is now serving still has those shirts. And I heard stories of him out in the wild of, this guy that has AIDS on his shirt, and he was actually very nice about it. He actually was like, oh, he admitted to, he said that he had made the mistake. He was like, oh, I totally see how you thought that these were part of the free clothes. I totally get it. But of course, the rest of our platoon was not cool with the fact that I had written my call sign on the commanders. I had to explain this story many, many times to many people. They wanted to kick my ass, basically. So it just became a thing for everyone just to that was like the chant that when we ran laps or whatever, when we did PT, was every song that we sang began and ended with fuck AIDS or fuck you AIDS. It became like a greeting between platoon members. Fuck AIDS, fuck AIDS. Yeah, like that. So yeah, if any of you ever do come and to join the Legion, and you may hear that story. I don't know. It's probably still floating around out there. They did force me to. They told me I had to change that call sign. I never wanted it anyway. Because if you have AIDS written on your clothes, or people are calling you AIDS, and you get injured, and you don't know what kind of a medic you're going to get, how well qualified they're going to be, they may not understand, and they may say maybe not give you blood or not perform the treatment that they should on you, out of fear of infection or spreading dirty needles or something like that. So yeah, that's going to change. But yeah, there you go. That's my story for you. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know. So I just want to know, what questions do you guys have for me, if any? I don't know if the people who are here, if they've made it to one of my live streams before. This is only my third one, so it's probably sucks. If you haven't seen it already, and some of you came a little bit late, I was already started. I'm just going to review this a little bit. I did an interview with one of my fellow Legion members on Saturday, and I'm going to be posting that video this week. I just haven't had time to process it and just do some light editing on it. And he spent 4 months here in Ukraine, fought in, well, you'll watch the video, I guess we talk about it. Fought on the front lines, and then had to go back for some family stuff back to the U.S., and then couldn't afford a plane ticket because he was owed some back pay from the Ukrainian army, and so he couldn't afford a plane ticket. So we were thinking about doing maybe some kind of a fundraiser or something to help him get back to Ukraine. And he just got word today that they're buying him a plane ticket back, so he's going to be back next month, which is great news. Well, not great news for his family. Maybe they're not super happy, but he is. So, if you haven't seen it already in my other videos, I want to show you this cool little shop that I created. And if you're in the United States, I'm not sure if this is working. If you are in, if you're in Great Britain or in the EU, please go to my YouTube page, like right here, and click on where it says store. Now, because I'm in Ukraine, if I'm not on my VPN, and I don't want to use my VPN when I'm doing this. But if you're in the States, you can click on this where it says store, and it will take you to, this is my web store. So if you are in the EU or Great Britain, please click on this and let me know if this store pops up. If you watch this stream later, please put it in the comments. Let me know if it's working for you. And what it'll do is it'll take you to one of these products. Now I'm going to add more products, and I know this graphic looks like crap, but I'm going to add more products. This is just what I have right now. I'm going to add some other things. Obviously, I want to add like drones and vehicles and all kinds of stuff. But there's a lot of logistics and considerations to getting some of these things to Ukraine. All of the things that I currently have on this site are things that I can buy from Ukrainian suppliers that I know are going to be quality. And then they will be shipped directly to the International Legion for the Defense of Ukraine. And I've worked that out on that side as well. And so if you make a purchase and you buy one of these items, or even if you donate, so like the full package, that's not absolutely everything a soldier needs, but it's like the basic equipment, okay? So boots, helmet, battle shirt that does not say AIDS on it, plate carrier, plates, what we call level 4 plates. They call it level 6 plates here in Ukraine. Level 3 helmet, knee pads, although I'm going to make some changes to the knee pads. Tourniquets, 4 tourniquets. All the really, really, really most basic stuff that a soldier needs. And you can go on here, and if you don't have $1,860, you can contribute $1 or $10 or 50, 25, 50, 100, whatever you've got. $1 helps. And I've already gotten some donations towards some of these things. The cheapest thing I have on here right now is a tourniquet, which tourniquet, including shipping and handling, it's not $2,000. It's okay. That's for 40. If somebody wants to buy 40 tourniquets, it's $50. So it's and you can even make 4 interest-free payments of $12.50. That's pretty cool. That's one of the reasons why I went with Shopify. Another reason why I went with Shopify on this is because it's all trackable. So once this gets shipped out, or once this item gets ordered, once the order is fulfilled, you'll get a tracking number. You'll get to see it delivered. And then when it gets to the other side, we'll make a video, put it up here on the YouTube channel of the Legion or that unit receiving these things and saying, hey, thank you. The other thing is that I want to talk about is there is a membership. We have memberships here. We have a YouTube membership. Right, like right here, there are different membership levels. Buying something of the equivalent cost of a membership will also give you the same, or virtually the same, benefits as if you had just gone in here and bought a YouTube membership of the same cost. So that's the idea anyway. All right. So moving on, I want to share with you guys. I spend all day listening to or reading articles. I think most of us here in Ukraine we have to, if we're not actually physically fighting on the front line, we need to know what's happening moment by moment. It's kind of, we're a little bit obsessed about it, This is a really interesting thing here. This is something that a lot of people in Ukraine have been talking about, and that is this is very interesting: demobilization and conscription. So, I'm going to say that a year ago there were lines in front of every single recruitment office, every single army office had line. Even 6 months ago. Yes, they were kind of forcing people in, but into the military. There were lines, right? But now pretty much all of the people that wanted to join the military, I think, have done it. They've already done it. And everybody else now is like, no way. I mean, not everybody, but, the majority. And a lot of people are trying to sneak out of the country. The ones who are just... hey, my feeling is, yeah, okay, sure, cowards. All right? But you know what? If you really don't want to fight, you shouldn't fight. If you're like, afraid of guns, you're not going to be a good soldier. You're not. That's why the U.S. military hasn't had a draft in a long-ass time. So a lot of Ukrainians have been talking about, hey, we need to change this because it's causing corruption in the sense that it's giving people an incentive to be corrupt. Take away that incentive. I mean, why, for example, why do government officials turn towards corruption? Well, okay, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the most common reasons here in Ukraine is because the government officials at the lowest level are not paid enough. They're paid very little. So raise their pay and there will be less corruption overall. It doesn't get rid of it completely. So the same is true here. And I'm just very interested to see what kind of changes they're going to make. And it doesn't say, but it says that they're going to have a public discussion. This is a really good thing. It's a really good thing. I don't know what the solution is going to be, but I really feel like, Ukraine, every time a person, a man mostly, that are doing this, leaves Ukraine because they're afraid of being drafted, afraid of being conscripted, that's the government's losing income tax revenue. Just the purchasing power, the economy is declining. I mean, the economy of Ukraine has been growing, even now that the first shock of the war is over. But it could be growing a lot more. And those people who are living outside of Ukraine, maybe they should be brought back. That's kind of the thing that's a lot of people are talking about. Obviously, some people are angry, and I can totally see this as well, angry at these guys, these cowards and traitors, or whatever they want to call them. But I know some of these people, and they're helping Ukraine in other ways. They're donating money, they're working on projects, or working for like American companies, for example, American defense contractors, helping to design and engineer things. I mean, they are still helping. Yes, Ukraine does need more soldiers. I believe, this is why I'm all about the Legion, I think that we as individuals, as much as possible, need to volunteer from all over the world. And we need to get the Legion on track. When I say we, who am I? The Legion needs to have more people. Well, they're trying to do that too. Maybe we'll talk about that on another time. But that's why they accepted me with no military experience, because they're realizing they need more people, and the Ukrainians, in my mind, have sacrificed enough. So I hope that these changes are coming. That's what they're talking about here. It's nice. I really, again, when I'm reading these websites, I like to go and force the Google Translate. Because if a lot of these websites have a Ukrainian and then an English But if we go to the English version, it's a little bit different. You know, it's a little bit different. It's not like on purpose, like they're trying to hide things from English speakers. It's that the articles have to be translated, and then they have to be approved. I actually volunteered as an editor for about 3 or 4 months with this exact newspaper at the beginning of the war with a bunch of people internationally. And you know, there's a whole step-by-step process where there's a translator who has to translate it. Sometimes they do a good job, sometimes they don't. Then we have to edit the translation. And so there can be up to 24-hour delay on the news articles on the English website. Now, to contrast that, we'll talk about the Kyiv Independent. The Kyiv Independent, arguably, is geared specifically to English speakers and an audience outside of Ukraine. I think they're great, but sometimes I just get the feeling that they are targeting, that they are geared towards the outside audience rather than I want to be able to look at what, if you want to understand what's happening in Ukraine and you don't feel like translating, this is a good step to use. But I want to know what Ukrainians are thinking. You know, how are they thinking? And then the next one I want to talk about here, I'm kind of skipping around. This is Ukrinform, and this I believe this is government sponsored. So this is the government's like official, which a lot of people obviously are going to mistrust. But notice how they have all these different languages. It's really great, and it automatically detects your preferences based on your browser. But maybe, I mean, I like the articles on here, but maybe maybe you want to, wow, I just saw that article. Wow, look at this. I didn't see this before. I want to kill the children of Kherson. I just keep coming back to this. Okay. Wow. The famous Lviv. He's not famous to me, but he looks like a pretty unhappy dude in that picture, man. Look at that kid. So apparently, these are the children who did not get stolen. Remember, Russia has said that they have, adopted or deported or whatever we say, kidnapped. They've kidnapped 700,000 Ukrainian children. Okay. But these are the ones who, for whatever reason, didn't get kidnapped. So when Kherson was liberated, and if you don't know where Kherson is, it's in the south of Ukraine on the Dnieper River, which is the biggest river, and it's the place where the dam was broken and flooded a bunch of areas to the south of Kherson, and it's where the biggest Ukrainian counteroffensive is happening right now. They're crossing over the river and attacking, and I hope that they are successful. I talked about it in my stream yesterday, so go back and watch that if you can. So it says there's 6,000 children. So there's a lot of people still in Kherson, but a lot of people who are down there say it's actually worse now because the Russians, or it has been worse since liberation, because the Russians have just been shelling and missiling Kherson like crazy, because they know that they knew that it was going to be a staging area for the military to take back their land south of Kherson. Yeah, so if you get a chance, go and read this article. I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine. I work with Ukrainian high school students every week. I have meetings with, 10, 15 students, and mostly we don't talk about the war. We are focused on other things. We're focused on learning English. I use Dungeons and Dragons, by the way. I use Dungeons and Dragons to teach English to high school students here. It's fun. But we, sometimes we play out their anxieties and their emotional traumas and things within the context of the Dungeons and Dragons game, within the context of the role-playing game. That's pretty interesting. So, wow, I'm gonna have to go and read that article. Yeah, so Ukrinform doesn't. I would argue doesn't have. Here, I want to save that tab. Ukrinform doesn't have the quality of writing that the Kiev Independent does. Okay, Kiev Independent they have good writers, in English. I mean, but this is if you want just the basic facts about stuff. It's a good place to take a look. And then there's some other ones. Interfax Ukraine is good. Again, it's a lot of facts. I guess that's why they call it that. So not a lot of news, but this is news that Ukrainians care about, I would say. An explosion was heard in Zaporizhia. And that's it. That's all. So that's the article. An explosion was heard in Zaporizhia. It was like an hour ago. Okay. That's all. It's kind of funny. I mean, it's not funny, but it's, it's interesting. This is a huge problem that I want to talk about. I have talked about it on previous videos, not live streams. But this whole thing that the Slovakia and Poland are doing to block Ukrainian truckers coming out of Ukraine and into Ukraine. I've crossed the border at Slovakia. It's not very far from where I live in the west part of Ukraine. And God, I think it took us like 7 hours to cross the freaking border. It was awful, and there were trucks lined up for miles, and that was this past summer. It's ridiculous what they're doing. I understand that the truckers in Slovakia and in Poland are afraid of losing money because the Ukrainians have cheaper labor. There's gotta be a way to work that out. I mean, come on, seriously, and have some goddamn compassion. Seriously, it's Europe. They all low-key hate each other in one way or another, and the closer they are to each other, yes, they are allies. It's a little bit like siblings, they are allies to anyone outside of Europe, but within Europe, they're fighting like brother and sister, and it's really hard. This is one reason why on my website here, on my Shopify, I have not added anything that comes from outside of Ukraine into Ukraine yet. Because I need to make sure that the things that I add here are going to be, are going to get here. And if it's coming from China and it has to pass through which I don't want to order things from China anyway, but I might have to. It has to pass through the Polish or Slovakian border. Who knows what'll happen? I mean, you've got customs checking everything. You've got these protesters, all kinds of bureaucracy. I've heard many stories about things going missing when they cross the border. So I'm taking this step by step by step. The next thing I'm going to add to this website is socks and secondhand rain gear. That's what my commander told me in the Legion. That's what they told me they need the most right now is rain gear. So like waterproof ponchos and waterproof pants, waterproof jackets, that sort of thing. And I have a way to get those really cheap, which I think I talked about last night, or maybe in my stream on Saturday, perhaps. So yeah, guys, I think that's enough. I think that's it for my stream. I want to thank everybody who is still here, and I hope you enjoyed my little story about about AIDS. And I will see you all tomorrow night. Slava Ukraine. Do побачення.